What's up, guys? It is a week later than I normally post it, but Labor Day weekend was a very crazy vacation-y kind of weekend. Let's just hop right into it. So we'll start with TV. I watched Sugar Rush from Netflix. It's essentially another kind of thing, kind of like Nailed It, but it's a little more on the professional side of things as opposed to being on the everybody's on the same level like you and me kind of deal. Yeah. I can't really say necessarily why I chose to watch it. I guess I was just like in the zone of watching cooking shows. So I watched that one and I mean, I enjoyed it. I finished it all, so. Movies, we have The Spy Who Dumped Me, which is a beautiful homage to all spy films, kind of, but it's a little bit of a comedic feel in its own way, starring Mila Kunis and Kate McKinnon, and I enjoyed it. I know the person that I went with enjoyed it, and I think you might enjoy it too, especially if you like spy movies. I did actually write a review on this one, so the link for that will be down below. The other movie that I watched was the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. I read the book back in July, and I loved the book. I was very curious to see how they were going to take that letter correspondence that the book has and turn it into a film. They did change things, but you kind of fully expect them to change things because of how the book is written. There's only, like, you're left with a few gaps. So they had to fill in some gaps and, you know, make some things work. But nothing really changed at the heart of the story. It was still just as beautiful as ever. We have a little bit of a different format for this month because I went and saw the complete works of Shakespeare at the Shakespeare Tavern. And I've seen the complete works of Shakespeare done by the Reduced Shakespeare Company. It's kind of available on YouTube if you look for it. And I absolutely love that. Now granted, that was done like early 2000s, late 90s kind of deal. So the people at the Shakespeare Tavern decided to update things a little bit, which apparently they have the freedom to do that. That's the way that the script is given because they had a fun little Q&A afterwards. But the way that they changed certain things, I don't know, it just didn't necessarily all like land for me, if you will. Overall, I enjoyed the experience. I love it every time I go to the Shakespeare Tavern. But there were certain things that really just fell flat for me, and I don't know how much of that was because I've already kind of become attached to original source material or because of all of the same kind of joke over and over again. Rounding us out with a lovely list of books. We'll start with The Darkest Legacy, which is a companion novel, not necessarily a fourth book in the Darkest Minds series. So Darkest Minds is a trilogy that's all told from one perspective. The Darkest Legacy is told from a different character's perspective, and so it's a little more of a companion novel. And it also happens well after the last book in the Darkest Minds series ends. And it's beautiful. I loved it. It was absolutely a wonderful addition to this like world of series. And I think it's just totally worth the read. You just go. So on the non-fiction side of life, I listened to Influencer, which is all about like social media influencing, how influencers get jobs and how you can position yourself the best way. It was a very quick listen, and I think it's definitely worth it if you are interested in making social media stuff your job, which is kind of cool that we live in a society that you can do that. The next book I read was The Girl Who Dared to Think. Now apparently this is like the first book in a series of 6 books, and I'll admit I did find it quite concerning that there are already 6 books and the first book was published last year. I know that there are some people who are very gifted writers and they can write a whole bunch of books and release and all that. More power to you. But I always find it concerning when there's a bunch in one specific series that have been released so close together. Overall, the book wasn't bad. It didn't necessarily entice me to want to listen or read or anything with the next book, but I mean, it was a nice like shut your brain off so I can just kind of enjoy things as they happen, kind of read. But yeah, no, didn't entice me to continue on with the series. The last book that I read in the month of August is The Illuminate Files by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the first book in the Illuminate Files trilogy, and I've had my hands on this book for a little while now, and it just took me a little bit because like the whole reason why I picked it up is because like look at the, like, it's logs. This is a sci-fi book, and it's complete like ship logs and different like IM chats and all this other fun stuff. It's a different way of telling a story, and I thought that was beautiful, and I really wanted to read that. But I found it even better, the fact that I listened to it on Audible while I was reading it. Because the way that Audible has it set up is you have a full cast, so you have different voices, and it helps you like distinguish between everything, and they also have other like little sound bites and whatnot to go in, which truly enhances your experience in the book. And it's literally absolutely beautiful. It's worth spending the money on getting a copy of this and spending the money on Audible, so you get the full like surround sound kind of experience, if you will. I mean, both are fine separately, but together it makes such a better experience. And I've been working on the rest of this trilogy, so you can fully expect a separate video on all of these, and I'll be going into more depth on that one. So that's it for me. That's all that I read, watched, experienced. If you have suggestions, as always, leave those comments down below so I have other things and more experiences to experience, because I totally want to experience all the things. So that's it for me. I will see you next video. Bye.